thank you everyone for joining us again today for our Ask the Expert series. So I am lucky enough to have with me an expert in our area who's been selling real estate almost longer than anybody that I know of. And we'll hear more about that from her. And she also happens to be my mom. So I'm very glad, Mom, that you came to see me. Micki Blackburn-Nagel. Most of you know her, though, as the famous Micki Blackburn. So thank you, Mom, for taking time to be here.
Glad to be here, Meredith.
So we've been doing these series recently and trying to focus on what has the effect of COVID been in the real estate market. What have you seen in the short term, and what do you think is going to happen in the long term? But to set up your answers, please share with us how long you've been selling real estate in Lake County.
Since 1972.
1972, people. I was born in 1969. I'm not afraid to admit it. 1972 was a long time ago. So you have seen radical changes Radical changes.
Absolutely.
And how many up and down markets do you think you've been through since 1972?
Oh, at least a dozen.
Okay.
At least a dozen, yes.
All right. So tell me, how did COVID change what's happening in your office and what you're seeing selling real estate right now?
Well, first of all, I've had orders from the state that as a broker, I was essential because, of course, the government wants things to close.
Yeah. You mean wants the transaction to close?
Yeah, they want it to close, so
Right.
They wanted me there. But I had to have a very, very limited people on board. So there were only 4 of us, and we all sat down and agreed how careful we would be, because if one of us got sick, we'd all get sick.
And that was the 4 people that were going to be manning the office. You have
Right.
many more agents. How many agents do you have in total?
37.
Okay, so 4 of y'all agreed to man the station, so to speak.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And were you able to list and sell property during that time?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the main difference was no reduction in land, but people with occupied homes, of course, did not want them shown.
Right.
So the vacant houses I have all been sold. I think I may have 1 vacant house left. So if you're listening out there, I need some listings.
Yeah.
I need some more houses. My vacant houses are all sold. But you can understand why someone living in a home did not want it shown. So we didn't show many of those. But we have sold an awfully lot of land.
Okay, so a lot of folks are frightened about the economic future. We're hearing scary things about, we've had a 7-year run, for example. The market's been great. Real estate market's been great. Now it's time for a crash again. We've heard, tell me what you think, having been through all of that. What would you say to those folks?
Well, for those folks that may live in Wisconsin or New Jersey or Wyoming, I can't speak. But I can tell you that we're in Florida. And people are coming to Florida in the droves. And the rate, some say as many as 1,200 people a day are moving into Florida. And they're not all moving into South Florida. A lot of people are moving into North Florida. Now, I was told by an expert once that people have a tendency to want to come back to an area they're familiar with. So all these empty nesters that took their kids to Disney 25 years ago, they remember Central Florida. They remember Orlando. Some of them even remember Clermont.
That's great.
So I have people come in that say, oh, I was in this area 30 years ago and I loved it. And I took my son when he was 3 years old to Disney. So we're going to do great right here.
So
Absolutely, we're going to do great.
So I'm not asking you to have a crystal ball, right? Because if you could know for sure, we'd all be multimillionaires. But you feel, what I'm hearing you say based on your experience, which we've talked about as long, is you think some of these numbers that are particular to Central Florida might help offset a lagging market elsewhere in the country. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, absolutely. You cannot compare us to other states. You can't compare us. Florida is very special. Florida is very different, and we're just going to boom, 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 boom.
Okay, so I'm loving this. You are feeling great about the real estate market right now.
Oh yeah, probably the worst market I went through, for you Democrats out there, was when Jimmy Carter was president. And we were looking at interest rates of 18 and 19%. And it was moving so fast, Meredith. I'd take a nice young couple out, show them the house, write a contract, and then the bank or mortgage company would call me 2 weeks before closing and say, oh, I'm sorry, I've got to raise the rates 2%. Just like that. If you wanted to buy, think about a $100,000 house at 18% interest.
Talk about a nightmare market.
Think about a $200,000 house that goes from 14 to 16 to 18 before you get it closed.
Right.
We couldn't lock in a mortgage. That was a nightmare.
Worse than the last Great Recession?
Yeah, for me, worse than the last Great Recession. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was pretty bad. So
That
you lived
was-
through that. You lived through, did we have a downturn in around 90, 89 to 91-ish?
Well, we had a stock market crash in 87, I believe, and business got pretty bad there for a while in 87, 88. And then it started coming back. It always comes back.
So,
And like I tell my realtors, if real estate was great all the time, everybody'd be in it, and all the attorneys and bankers would control it. We wouldn't
well,
even have
listen,
a chance.
attorneys are great. You should, we won't talk about the bankers. Okay, so I guess what I'm hearing from you is that you feel good about the numbers of folks coming in here.
I feel excellent about it. I really wish I could be around the next 10 years and see it. It's going to be
who
great.
says you won't be?
It's
Who
going to
says
be
you won't
great.
be? So do we need more listings right now, or do we need more buyers right now?
I need more listings right now. I had a man call me yesterday from New York. He just wants to buy a house here right now, sight unseen. He has a nephew that lives in Leesburg. His nephew will come look at it. I don't have anything for him. It's sold.
When you say you don't, you mean just in general, not only your office, but in general the market.
For him
right
to
now.
move in right now.
There were not any listings anywhere that would work for him.
Right,
So
right.
I'm hearing then that it's a good time to sell them.
It's an excellent time to sell.
And I'm hearing from you it's a good time to buy.
It's a good time, you better buy.
So if someone is maybe leery about listing because of COVID, I'm sure that you can help them and observe all the precautions and everything in the way that the listing is handled.
I can understand, and I certainly empathize with people that are leery because, you have a home, you have kids, you have an elderly person living there, so you don't want people going through your house. And I think some people are going to be like that for quite a while, no matter what we do or say. I think we've got that to go through. Yes, I do.
Okay, and are you finding that you can get some creative ways to get around some of those problems?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I know there's a lot of people that would like to hear what you would say is the secret to your success all of these years. And so I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot to ask you this question because I'm sure there's a lot of things. But if you could name one thing, a piece of advice that you would give to our listeners, whether they're realtors, bankers, lawyers, whatever it is they do for a living, what would be something that you think you've learned in all these years that would transfer to everybody?
It's funny, they asked me that question yesterday. Somebody else asked me that same question, so I'll give you the same answer. When you're in anything, I don't care where you are, and if you're an attorney, if you're a banker, if you're a realtor, if you're a stockbroker, what you have to say is, I'm in here for the long haul. I'm in here for the long road, not for a quick flash in the pan, make a lot of money and run. So look down the long road, and sometimes you have to give. And sometimes you have to give up $1,200 here, or $1,800 here, or $600 there. And sometimes you have to, but you know what? That customer's gonna come back to you. And that customer's gonna remember that you helped. Now you can be a greedy pig, and what I always tell my realtors, pigs get fed and hogs get slaughtered.
So I say that
So
all the
remember
time,
that
too.
with your business. It is absolutely true. Unfortunately, I've seen realtors make the mistake of, oh, I'm not going to give $500. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. Well, you know what? Might have cost them $150,000 down the road.
Right. That's a very good point, to be in something for the long run. And that's never more true than in a community like ours. I believe that what you give out, you get back. I mean, I think that's how it works. And when you give out understanding and care and compromising where you need to help folks, I do think that comes back to you.
It absolutely does.
Well, I guess I learned that from you.
I guess I drummed that in your head for 40 years.
Yeah, you must have. Is there anything else that you want to share while I've got this time with you? Anything that you think might be encouraging to people who are really, there's so much anxiety right now, Mom. There's anxiety about what's going to happen with the market, the stock market, the real estate market, businesses closing. What words would you like to say? And maybe you can just look right in that camera and give some words of encouragement.
Absolutely not to worry. You're in the right place, and if time's a little rocky right now, you're still in the right place. And it's going to work out. It's all going to work out. I'm absolutely as sure of that as anything dealing with real estate in all these years that I can say. You're in the right place at the right time. And that old saying about location, 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 yes, you're in the right location. You are here.
Well, and I do think as you get older, right, you do learn that over time things work out, right?
Well, of course they do. You can go through life and someone statistically figured out one day, did you know that 90% of the things you worry about never happen?
I know that's true for me.
Can I take just a minute to share a personal story?
Please do.
This is a personal, funny story, and I hope you're listening to me out there. In 1989, I was diagnosed with macular degeneration. For those of you who don't know what macular degeneration is, they didn't know that much about it. So a wonderful ophthalmologist from Mayo Clinic, top of the line, said, we don't know how long you'll have your vision. We just don't know. So for 10 years, I didn't have one day that I didn't worry about going blind. Not one day. I woke up in the morning, is this the day I go blind? Well, in 1999, Mayo Clinic called me up and told me, you've got cancer. Oh, and I thought, I'm not going to live to go blind. Now, I survived. My vision is still wonderful, thank you, God. My health is wonderful. But my point is, quit worrying about all these things. And if this is your last day on earth, and it could be, don't worry. Don't spend your last day on earth worrying. It works out. It all works out. God looks after us.
Oh, thank you, Mom. Thanks for that encouragement. So, wow, what a privilege for me to have my mom here, and a privilege for you guys to hear from words of wisdom from someone who's been doing this a long time. And I hope it's been an encouragement to you. Mom, if people want to get a hold of you at Micki Blackburn Realty, let them know what number do they call and how do they get you?
We're open 7 days a week, 394-6611. I'm on every bathroom wall in town.
Okay. Only my mother can get away with saying that. And you have offices, you serve Sumter County, of course, West Orange County, South Lake County, office in Mascot.
And we're really excited that some of you may not know, we have a downtown office now.
That's a great place. I've seen it where you have some listings featured.
I always wanted an office where in these towns, they have pictures in the window and people stop and look in. I've always wanted one of those offices, and I finally got one. And come by because we've got our screen going, actively showing all our listings, and our listings are in the window. And come in and have a glass of wine or a cup of coffee. We've got a comfortable sofa for you to sit. Please come by.
Yeah, and I will tell you, if you have any questions of my mom, she loves to talk real estate, all things real estate related. Give a call and she'll talk to you. She'll answer your questions and help you in any way that she can, as will I, if you have any questions, as always, regarding anything related to real estate or any other area of the law, estate planning, guardianship, anything like that. Please give me a call. I'd love to help you out. And thanks, Mom.
Well, you're welcome, dear, and we're very proud of you, too.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got that on camera. You can find me at 352-394-7408 and on the web at mnagellaw.com. Thanks, Mom.
She's very hardworking.
And I didn't even pay her to say that. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thanks, Mom.